Okay. I prefer to stand over here, so we don't have something in between us. Is that okay with you guys? So I can engage with some of you. Mukuru is an international money transfer company. And we've experienced some competition here up front. I used to compete with these guys for 9 years. So I used to head up an international money transfer company in the UK. And the reason I joined these guys was, I mean, we kind of, this isn't common where someone heads up an international money transfer and next time they're at a conference, they're representing them. The reason I joined Mukuru was because of a decision they made just over 2 years ago. It was a decision that as a competitor, I wanted to make, but for various reasons I couldn't. It was a decision that would change Mukuru. But in order to understand that decision, I need to talk to you guys about commercial banking on the left, the commercial banking experience and how it has to move onto the mobile platform in this generation. The reason we say it has to is because in this room there are banks and MNOs who are making great progress in doing exactly that and will achieve it in this generation. And if you're not one of them, you will be losing out on market share. So it's easy for me to put this up on a slide and say, let's transition from commercial banking onto the mobile platform in this generation. It's quite an easy slide for me to put up. But the first commercial bank started in Europe more than 600 years ago, and in this experience of commercial banking, so much has gone into. I mean, from deposit-taking physical branches, ATMs, you guys know all of that, KYC, compliance, central bank, regulations, all of that. Security, risk management, we're talking about fraud, internal, external, liquidity, debt management, insurance that we've got here on the stage. We've got microloans, and when we're talking about credit, we're talking credit cards, mortgages, and the works. The technology that underwrites all of this has been built over hundreds of years in effect, and call centers to support all of this. From issuing plastic to card issuing, through card issuing banks to consumers on the one end, merchant facilities for acquiring banks on the other side. And the space that we play in, cross-border payments, where banks had cross-border relationship with other banks and Nostro accounts to settle this whole thing. So the sense that I want to give you guys is, this is an enormous task. We've been talking about this for the last 2 days, moving this experience of commercial banking onto the mobile platform, but that's an enormous task. And at Mukuru, we believe there's 2 ways of approaching this. There's, on the left-hand side, what we call banks building it all in-house, banks and MNOs in collaboration, building all of these pieces in-house. And we've had a lot of conversation around collaboration, creating this solution in a way that's agnostic. And I've been quite encouraged to hear that from a lot of the speakers. The second option that we advocate is what we call plug and play. So a lot of, like what we've heard here up front, a lot of these solutions are already built as turnkey solutions into the mobile experience. So for a bank to rebuild it, or banks and MNOs to rebuild the solution, we believe is not efficient. So we advocate this route, and there's 3 reasons why we believe that this will eventually win out in the market. The first is time to market. If we're saying this has to happen in this generation, time to market is key. It'll ensure that you have market share. At Mukuru, we enable banks and MNOs to offer international money transfers on a mobile level within 6 to 8 weeks, which is something quite extraordinary in terms of activating solutions. There's cost saving. We're talking about 10 years worth of development that we've put into building international money transfers, and the economies of scale of leveraging technology that's already been built as opposed to re-engineer and rebuild exactly the same technology is huge. Doing what you do best. Jim Collins in his book Good to Great talks about a hedgehog principle. Focus on what you believe you can be world class at, and we believe this solution creates focus for each player on what they can be world class at. And together, we create a value proposition to a client that is world class. But we do recognize that some players will try and build all of this in-house. And there's two reasons that we've come across for them doing that. The first is don't want to pay away a piece of the pie, and we've talked about that as well. Over the last 2 days, I've heard a few speakers talk about a piece of the pie, and our view on that is the pie keeps shrinking. If you wait too long, there ain't going to be a pie left. So this shouldn't be a big concern. And the other side is ownership. Between the banks and the MNOs, they own the wallet or the store of value. And that customer experience, the customer will see the MNO bank brand. So from an ownership point of view, all of these products are essentially just value-added services. And if the value-added services is not delivering on a service level agreement, you can simply switch them out with another one. The ownership and essentially the pie stays with the bank and the MNO. And the last point why we've come across banks and MNOs leaning towards this sometimes is, will the value-added service, will these guys that we are using to engage with our customers care about our customers the way that we care about them? Because you know the service that you deliver to a customer, will these guys do the same? And that's a valid concern, and I think that's a case-by-case evaluation. Use the product yourself, get reviews, see where the product has worked, and make up your own mind whether or not your customers will enjoy this experience. So what is this decision that Mukuru made? Just over 2.5 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, we get audited by a number of different regulatory bodies in different countries where we operate our international money transfers. And in the UK, the HMRC came for one of their regular audits. So this guy goes around the UK and audits money transfer companies. He specialized in just auditing money transfer companies. And he came to our premises like he does, like they've done over the years. And he looked at this technology that we had built, and he was absolutely blown away. He said to us that it is leaps ahead of the other players in the market that he's been auditing. And we were absolutely surprised by this. We thought what we were doing was industry standard, was the way that you do a money transfer. So the seeds were sown to white label our product. We went away, discussed in-house, and took our notes to some of the industry leaders and asked their opinion. And we embarked on a project to take Mukuru, this crazy cow logo, out of the Mukuru engine. And we ended up with Remitix. Remitix is now a completely white label solution, so a turnkey solution to enable banks, MNOs, and retailers to offer international money transfers turnkey. So what goes into a money transfer? There's quite a bit, and I've touched on the technology that we've built. When I say our technology is cool, we really think our technology is cool. I can't dive into all of it. For instance, we allow customers to take a picture of their KYC, upload it, and instantly we digitally extract what format, what this document is. Is it an ID? Is it a passport? Is it a utility bill? Whatever it might be. We extract that information and instantly run it against the OFAC list, the PEP lists, the sanction lists. We verify the customer through that interface, in real time. So there's no staff member engagement with that verification unless it fails. That's kind of just one piece in terms of the verification side. We obviously in a money transfer flow, there's the currency exchange, the allocation of that, and in real time we do the whole transaction end to end through APIs we integrate with whichever player. Compliance, we've got licenses in all these countries that we operate. Customer service, we've got a call center in Cape Town that's 130-seater. So we leverage all these brands that we're launching off using the same call center. So the customer is engaging with a staff member who understands a money transfer and is not just passing him between spaces. And then pay in and pay out networks. And the way that we've built the solution now, we can cut and paste any of these pieces, lift it up, and stack it into an existing business. So if you're looking at the slide and you've got a pay-in or a pay-out network, it's like I said earlier, it's a 6 to 8 week experience for us to pick up some of these pieces and drop it into your existing business. So I've kind of put this slide to give you an idea of just this. Any brand can go into the interaction of the African receiving remittance market. So we stick a website for you in Europe, and the customer can engage with that e-commerce platform in Europe and receive funds in Africa. This is a brand that's going live in a few weeks. It's called dosh.com, as well as mobile apps, so the customer can choose whether or not he engages with us over e-commerce or on the mobile app. Typical clients we've got is push-centric, pull-centric, and software as a service. Software as a service is, we've found existing money transfer companies who don't play in the digital space, who've realized that they're behind the game, and we enable them into the digital space in quick fashion. Push-centric is European, US, typical sending market companies who have a rich database who they want to offer an international money transfer. So we enable them to push transactions out of their existing base into typical receiving markets. And pull-centric clients are the reverse. So typical receiving markets, Africa, Southeast Asia, who want to receive, who want to enable their customer base to receive international money transfers. So recently we've launched LBC, who's a Filipino courier company. They are essentially the DHL of the Philippines. They've got just over 3,000 of these physical stores scattered across the Philippines. And as a pool-centric client, we've enabled them with an e-commerce platform in Europe to receive transactions, their customers, onto these 3,000 stores. So a client would go onto an e-commerce platform in Europe, he would transact a piece of plastic, and it would arrive at these 3,000 stores. They could take out cash. We even deliver the cash at someone's door. So we're running the program for free at the moment, but it's going to be a £5 service. The client in Europe can deliver funds for free at your door in an envelope in the Philippines, which we think is something quite extraordinary. So I just want to leave you with this idea of we need to do this in one generation. The old ancient saying that says, if you chase 2 rabbits, you won't catch either. We want to encourage focus here, and we want to say rather focus on what you do best and allow other players who white label to create focus in these individual little parts. Thank you.